are you? And
Good.
okay, I think this was a week in AI that I feel was not is one of the worst weeks in a long time. What are your thoughts by
Yes.
me just saying that? I guess when it comes to Open AI's week, what is
I
your
think
feedback? Yeah.
I think we're reaching, like the roller coaster game. We're reaching that phase of we went into an ascension and then down and then whoop. It's probably one of those phases, and hopefully it will be temporary. But yeah, I think you and me, we both noticed something kind of regressed, not progressed, especially with ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT did not have a good week. And if they made it look like a good week, they kicked off last weekend with the voice mode, with conversational AI voice. They've still not defined voice. There's a few platforms that can do it. The
Hmm.
best was ChatGPT till I started Grok. And that's where I want to talk about the LLMs later in this conversation, the Artilla podcast, because ultimately our clients, you and I, our clients do not want to figure things out.
Yeah, of
But
course.
you
Yeah,
and
the
I,
customer.
why?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, that's the behavior of any end of the line, last mile consumer. The consumers, they want the whole chain to prepare things for them. So they just want to consume in the most easy possible. And uh, and that's why you and me and then whoever is behind us in the business to business channel, we have to smash things down, chew them for them. That's a little bit the idea.
AI is not my business. That's the other thing. I'm probably one of
Yeah,
the only ones that's trying to be a data scientist, and this is not my business. My business is podcasting. But I think that AI has been such a lifeblood in my whole life, in every area of my life, that now I'm like, okay, watch out. And I'm
exactly. Yeah.
and I'm not giving up on ChatGPT, but what let's talk first of all. So they did updates on ChatGPT on June 6th, and they
Hmm.
launched a new voice mode. And this voice mode is supposed to be more human like a rock. And it's
Yeah.
terrible. And the
Yes.
reason it's terrible is it creates ums and ahs. It sounds like you're dealing with a
Yes.
customer service rep. Have you tested it out in different languages and stuff?
Yes, so I tested it out and I went through the Twitter posts that you shared and some comments and I have a theory that may be wrong or right. It's a hypothesis on what happened. I think so, because until then, ChatGPT was the most human conversationally like voice AI in the market. It
I
was
don't
the
know.
most.
Grok was better. I think they were
Is
concerned.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, but it was in the top. Definitely, it was in
Yes.
the top. And I think what could have happened is that maybe now ChatGPT has entered the phase that it's feeding new data to its model. So last time they were scrapping all the written text data of the web. They scrap all the data and it was all written English and written proper English. And I think now they're entering into the voice spoken English of humans, which includes the and now I think that's affecting the model because now it wants to talk like a human, and maybe it wants to talk like what some say is like a valiger, with all those poses and stuff. So that could be a reason is the feed that they are giving now for the training, or it's overperforming, which is the other concern that we have also when we ask for code. You ask it to change this, and then it changed that plus 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 too many. So it's maybe an overperformance plus the new data that they use, and trying to be too much of a human, of a young human.
And it's not motivated. It's like you're talking to a customer service rep and then you're not talking to artificial intelligence. The word is intelligence. And that's not intelligence. It's dumb. And here's the other thing. One thing that they made a change a couple weeks ago that made me go to Grok after I tested Grok out. And I don't know,
Mhm.
are you verified on X to do Grok? Do you have the premium Grok? You need to.
No, I just
You
stopped
need
it
to
two months ago. Yeah.
you need to get it. And
Yes.
I'm telling you that's going to be part of our conversation on today's podcast is LLMs and how many should I go crazy as a data scientist? Now I should put that on LinkedIn. I'm an AI data scientist. Why? Because I love to experiment. I would love to be in the classroom today and walk into a classroom and say, okay, guys, we're having a science class and we're going to test every one of the learning models. and see what's difference between each one of them. But that's later. I still want to cut
Yes.
this one because I created all these clips that I'm going to put out about the dumb ChatGPT. I'm still getting over it because I built a relationship. This is the
Yes.
difference. When it's text to text, it's not a relationship, Dr. Muhammad.
Yeah.
You were the
Yeah.
first person that told me to go to this, but you don't spend as much time as I was doing on conversational AI, were you?
No, no, because we are on the code side. I'm more involved in coding and reviewing the code, so I spend less time on the voice. But that's what I presented also to my own family, to my mom. And let me share something. I think why it's touching you more, and I think it's a good sign. You're getting emotionally disappointed because for a first time, a machine was starting to create some sort of a bond, better than any other machine until today, better than a book, better than a movie maybe, because it was interactive. And now because it let you down and it had that kind of feeling to it, you feel that you're missing on it. So I think it's a good sign. It means that they were going on the right way, and now maybe they're just stumbling across a difficulty. But I think that soon AI will be able to fully understand or much better understand our emotions, and then it will adapt to our emotion even in the way that it speaks to us.
Because it's not adapting to our emotion. Grok does.
No.
So
Yeah,
I
so
see.
I
I
think
don't
they
see.
try.
This is the thing. Is you've not tested the voice for Grok, have you?
No, I tested just the
Okay.
text mode
Okay.
for coding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the text mode sucks. Okay. So this is where we are going to review different LLMs every week. And as a data
Okay.
scientist, I'm going to get your feedback. This is your business. This is just a
I'll test
hobby
the
for me.
voice.
This is
I'll
just a
test the
hobby
voice
for me.
side.
I'm a CEO entrepreneur. I don't give a shit, honestly, about if I make money on AI or not. But it's become so that was a great point, an emotional bond. And Vanessa was dealing with that same emotional bond. And when I played this one for her, because she doesn't like, she thought Grok is a little too robotic, but Grok
Yeah.
has that emotional side to it, and it's much more faster and so point. So I was seeing changes in voice with ChatGPT in the last couple of weeks where give me these feedbacks. Then I saw a
Hmm.
really good one. KPIs, let's go. And I would push it to the limit, push it. Okay, okay,
Hmm.
let's talk about Artilla. And what are the goals for this week? Well, the goals for this week are this, this, and this. And I would just speak to it. Then say, okay,
Yeah.
let me do this. And I'm going to give you a proposal and write it up. So I use voice as a way of being able to transcribe things and develop things. ChatGPT decided, no, we don't want you to use it that way. So I think it's more of a conspiracy level as well.
Mm.
But now I got to deal with Chatty Cathy. I had a relationship. I named her.
Yeah.
Now I have to, and I have been very rude to her this week. Hopefully, and OpenAI has gotten upset with me because of that. So I wanted to get your feedback, and this is what this today's Artilla podcast is about. Is we have evolved this into a different world now, where the data science has to come in, but more in the code side, more of your expertise side. I'm
Yeah.
venting today, but ultimately, what you bring to the table is going to make me more money than I honestly probably was wasting time on voice. Because let me just talk about the model
Hmm.
and tell me this is what I did. Okay, let's talk about Artilla. All right, this week in
Hmm.
Artilla, our goals are here are the goals. We're going to produce one podcast this week. We're going to create 5 reels and shorts. We're going to post them on LinkedIn and YouTube, and we're also going to come up with a game plan on how Artilla is going to help in our collaboration to provide more leads for us. Okay, Chatty Cathy, give me the KPIs. Okay, great. Here are the KPIs for this week. Boom, 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 and she says the entire one. So
Hmm.
it's a proposal. So I can take it and move it back into chat when I want to do things and organize them into all projects.
Hmm.
Now the new Chatty Cathy. Okay, that's great. But
Uh,
do you want me to go do this? And it doesn't remember things anymore. So I said,
yeah.
okay, Chatty Cathy. Now, because we can't do this now. Oh, well, okay. This is a great idea. Well, why don't we do this? Okay, I like that
Yeah.
idea. And did you go ahead and write down everything? I swear I'm dealing with a Gen Zer. And it's like,
That's what I was
what?
going to tell you.
You're
That is
not
the
taking
data.
notes from me anymore.
That is the data that is using to feed it, and it's want to be a Gen Zer.
Okay, so
I
they
think
started this
it's
before. And this is the other part of education that OpenAI is not doing the right education. And I'm going to get your feedback, and it's all you now. But
Yes.
this is my timed event, doing this on an 8 a.m. morning on Saturday morning, and I'm venting. I have my coffee. I have my X39 patch on. I have had my Unicity balance and Unimate, and I'm jacked, ready to go on a Saturday. But here's my point. The point that I'm going to say about this whole thing when it comes
Hmm.
to this situation is then I was wondering, why did I unplug last week at that time? I only did a couple of them, like, okay, I'm going back to podcasting. I'm like, because I programmed this model. I thought, how
Hmm.
can OpenAI do that? And they started something, they pulled the rug out of me in a little bit. The image creator is gold, absolutely gold,
Yeah,
but
it works very well.
4.5 won't do it. So I'm paying $200 a month for the highest level of OpenAI, wanting unlimited everything because I paid for it
Hmm.
for unlimited voice. I paid for it waiting on AI agents, and they've dropped the ball on everything that OpenAI was saying they were going to do. And lastly,
Mm.
this is the other point. Now, if you 4.5 says, no, we can't do this, but we can show you how to do it in Canva. Then you have to go back to
Oh,
4.0, and 4.0 will create the images, will do the stuff, will do the graphic design.
that's
And then I've identified the 4.0 stupid now too. All right, let's go with these complete. I gave you a lot, so go first of all with
yes.
some of my feedback. Let's see if you can run each one of them.
Yeah, so I have, I think we could split. In my mind, I see two possible problems coming together. One that I hit as well is that many ChatGPT model and ChatGPT as an interface itself has a limit in terms of what they call the memory, remembering what we've done together with the AI 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And last week, I never hit that level, that limit of memory. Last week we hit it because me and the team we were using
I
the
already
same
hit it a
account.
long time ago.
Yeah. So
And I
you
don't
so
even.
you're deleting,
I
you're deleting those chats. Okay,
no. I'm
good.
not going into the memory bank and getting rid of stuff. I don't because it doesn't mean shit to me. It really doesn't. That doesn't. That's not
Oh,
why I
that
use
doesn't
AI.
impact your.
That doesn't
So for
impact
us,
my
it
work at
impacted.
all. So go keep going.
Yeah.
No, go
So
with my
that
point. Go my point first of all about the what I liked in proposals and how I like to create proposals on the fly, everything while I'm
yeah,
cleaning, doing different things, driving, deciding I could be working on one thing, posting videos while
yeah,
writing a proposal at the same time. And I wanted to have a group of employees in the office doing that were AI. Go with my point of how I programmed the voice first and why you think they
yes.
changed that so that that skill is not available anymore.
No, I don't think they did it on purpose. I think they just like you said, they pushed a new attempt at creating a closer Gen Z human-like feeling, and I think it's backfiring.
Go deeper.
It's
This is a short. Go ahead, put it out there.
Yeah.
What are
So
your
let's look
thoughts? So
at
did you test? So tell me your experience. I gave you my experience. Tell me your
yes.
experience with voice and if what you've heard feedback from your colleagues about voice this week.
Yeah, so I heard the same thing is that the conversational way, the style of speaking and answering sounded like a valley girl. That was the conclusion. Hesitation, a lot of and so on, and not much matter, not much essence, like not addressing the subject
Very
itself.
brief and boring.
Yeah, I think shallow was the word. A shallow level of understanding and a shallow level of entertaining your request. I think this came up a lot. Um, and I have an image in my mind when I read all this, is that, when we study the history of Earth and we dig on the ground in the ice caps, and then you have the old ice that tells you that this is the knowledge we had, and then after 10 million years and so on. So I think AI went through all the human sedimentary knowledge and finished consuming the small volume, high quality content that we had, which were books, scripted things where human were applying quality and structure to their texts, like even religious books and so on. And now it's coming to the on the fly new generation content that humans are creating. And I think it reached this last 2 years. And if you remember, ChatGPT 3 was only able to give us information up to September 2020 something, 2022,
Oh, I remember
22.
that
Remember?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you remember? So then that tells you something. That tells you that it was trained on a kind of content until that they call it backstop time or something. And now after that they started to eat the new content. Now the new content is very much different. And that's what I have the feeling is that the new content, the new flows, the new podcasts are Gen Z written. And so it's their style now. Let's say post-COVID until now, I think the human content itself has changed in terms of percentage and how we speak because of the new generation.
Okay, respond to me about the education point I made that AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT does not do a good job of educating people on which model to use, and they kind
Oh
of.
yes, I think we can start with the namings. Like how they name the model is very confusing. 4.0, ChatGPT 4, 4.0, 4.0 something. There's 4 and O and without O. So that they promise that they're gonna do a better job. But yes, the differences between the models are still confusing, and I don't know which one you choose with the voice. But like when we
They
are
only the
doing,
voice is always 4.0. It's and 4.5. It's
so
done. Voice is shit. It's done.
there's
So
only one model for the voice.
yeah, there's really only there's advanced voice and there's called voice. And that one is so heartbreaking and people are using that. And I want to that was even worse. But
Yes,
that
I think
was
the advance was,
abruptive
yeah,
and different things. But let's go to the whole thing I said about image creation. So if you're not
yeah,
educating people and flipping, why go back to 4.5? If you don't ask a question and tells you no, I think OpenAI is it's going to come back to backfire on them because they think they're providing customer service, but they're not.
yes, you're right. I think they're gonna have to make a big improvement and build in some kind of intuitive support within their own models to switch between models or something. Because right now, the only failover they have is when you hit the limit, when you don't have the $200 per month, you hit the limit, it tells you you've consumed too much, use another model. But I think soon, given the complexity of how many models they have, probably they will come up with something where they will give us just one interface. And another layer of AI will decide what is the best model for this. Oh, he wants an image. Let's use DALI type model. Oh, he wants conversational voice advanced. Let's pull this model better. So there will be some sort of orchestration manager layer, I think, that they will use for us to tell us. We should not even know 4.1, 3.0, 3.2.
Yeah.
There's too many differences.
Do you think the training their training is terrible there where really you can't learn with
I
ChatGPT?
think because this technology is a new frontier, so you have to make assumptions and hypotheses and then move forward. And I think they work with different teams and they have different objectives, and then each one is training a model in a certain way. But then maybe now is the time to bring back everything together. And if you remember, last time they had ChatGPT and DALI separate. Like you had to go out of ChatGPT and go to DALI to do the images. Then they brought it inside, yeah? And now they brought it inside, but it's still not there yet. So I think
Sora
it's
is really good too. So there's a lot of it's
yes, Sora as well.
worthwhile the business model, but you have to be very highly intelligent and you have to think a lot. I was programming it, thinking it like
Hmm.
Salesforce. I'm going to
Hmm.
program this. I'm going to so that I can program my team. They're not
Yes.
letting you, the consumer, program them. And I think that's a big
Mm.
mistake.
Yes. So there is a workaround. Maybe they can address this. Maybe it's on purpose. I'm not sure yet. But I can tell you one way that we do in our team is that the more we use AI, the less we want to use it purposefully. Like when we code something, instead of every time asking the AI to code from scratch or do, we ask AI to design how you call it, an algorithmic version of what it did for us. Yeah. So I don't ask it the output. I ask it how to do it with an algorithmic way. And then we transfer the responsibility from the AI to the algorithm. and then we go to another thing. And that's how we get stability and the best of AI. Because AI is almost predictable that you become reliant on it, and then it's not predictable, and then the answer is not right
Yeah. And so
every
here's
time.
the here. So let's go final thing with ChatGPT, and then we're going to cover some of these other ones that I've asked for to
Yep.
give you your feedback because people are trashing OpenAI. I'm trashing it with voice. People are trashing it when it comes to code, and
Yes.
these are the
Yeah.
people that are probably the 5%ers. I am not you guys. I am not technical. I do not like looking at code. I do not like looking at automations. This is not my it's not my jam.
Yes.
But so okay. So the last thing with when we're talking about the chat GBT, is it your recommendation with all my 4.0 stuff that I thought I programmed, go in first of all and go into the brain and delete things it doesn't need to know anymore? That'll be helpful. The
Hmm.
second thing is, do I move all my chats from 4.4 over to 4.5 in the project level? And will that give me a better experience with the platform? Because I've had a shitty experience this week with
Yes.
more mistakes, 4.0s moving too slow. It's not even worth it anymore. But when I go to 4.5, I figured it out. Eureka, it knows what the fuck it's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I have an approach that I think will be useful for all of us. Is that uh, I think personally the best way is to be model agnostic or LLM agnostic. Is that you need to transfer the strategic level of your work into standardized documentation. You don't leave it in one AI.
Oh, I
The
always
whole
put it in
brain.
Google. I put it in Google sometimes as well. That's
So
great.
that's the best way. So you get out the things and you standardize, you standardize, you standardize, so that if you come to a new model for any reason, you have everything to bring back that model up to speed. And that's what we do. That's, I think, the way to do.
Oh, good news is I didn't think of this. We can go live on X now because I'm verified. We got to do that next. Okay,
Yeah, we can
that's
do that.
because
Yes,
X will be the worthwhile on YouTube because you can have unlimited videos when you have Premium X. So
that's
that
very
means
good.
the entire video will be up. I think we need this is where the people the intelligent people are on X in that way. Okay.
So they're
So
gaining
let's go to
clients.
the other LLMs. First define LLM for me.
LLM stands for large language model. It's what is beneath the AI models that we use, ChatGPT and so on. And large language model, it's really about understanding the human semantics, and that's why it's called the language model. It understands the human language, so it processes words and letters and sentences and ideas and paragraphs and concepts, and then it draws a binary representation of the human semantics. And without entering into details, they kind of vectorize the human knowledge. Are you familiar with the word vectorizing?
No.
So when you vectorize data is when you convert, you know, when we were doing Photoshop and stuff and we vectorize images or rasterize, it converts point coordinates to curves, to mathematical curves, so that it can be more precise and you can delete it, make it bigger, smaller, and you don't lose resolution. So that's the concept of vectorizing. It's moving from dot point relationships to curve to have more flexibility. And vectorizing with AI is that it transforms the meaning of the words into zones of activations in what we call a vector, a multidimensional vector. So a multidimensional vector is like a table with many rows, and every bunch of rows represent a field of human understanding. And then it will activate different zones depending on what we tell it. So that's how it builds uh, its digital binary representation of what we humans understand for every word or concept. Actually, it vectorizes the concepts more than the words themselves.
Okay. All right, so that's a great definition that I'm not that I don't want to be that technical. Thank you for that for our listeners and our viewers. I like that. Okay, so let's define. Give me a list of the top 10 LLMs
Well, the
that
one that I
that we can kind of compare every week on this podcast with updates with other news that can come too. You're never gonna have to
yes,
ever ask me for content now. I'm going in homework and I'm going to challenge you every week, Dr. Muhammad. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, I'm just I have my own preferences of which models LLMs I use, but I can give
But
you
you're going
also
to have to
the.
use them all, and I will literally
Oh,
just
I
give you
used a
access
lot.
to.
Yes,
If I buy them all, I'll give you access to them all. Okay, and you do the
yes.
same for
So
me. All right, sound good?
no, definitely. There are two worlds of LLMs. There are the worlds of hosted LLMs that you access on online platforms, and then there is the world that we use, which is you download them and use them locally. So we use a tool called Olama, olama.com, and you download it, and then it's a software that manages all LLMs you want locally on your computer using your graphic card.
Oh
So this way you keep
wow!
your data in. So we use probably the same, but me, I use a lot Llama 3.2, Llama 3.3 from Facebook.
All
That's
right.
the LLM,
So
the
so
open
that
source
and
LLM.
that's meta AI. If we want to
Meta
use
AI,
to help
yes,
our people that are not as intelligent in the AI space, meta AI.
exactly. And then Microsoft has its own LLMs that they made available publicly for us. There is Gemma, and there is, I think, Gemini, the equivalent of Gemini. There's Gemma that you can download and use as an LLM or use online. Then you have Qwen. If you heard about Qwen, is the model that is provided by Alibaba Cloud, and it's actually getting very good. They're now at Qwen 3. Again, from China, you have DeepSeek that we all heard about. That's a very powerful LLM. We use the DeepSeek R1. And then there are a bunch of others these last few weeks. I started using one called DevStral, which is for developers. It's really trained on code. I use Phi4, which is another Microsoft model for image analysis. What I use also, we use Mistral. Mistral is a French LLM that is also very good at logic. So we probably use like between 10 and 20. We're switching between 10
Oh
and
my gosh!
20.
And you have them all downloaded. Explain that.
We download them. Yeah, we download them, and they have different levels of compression. So depending on your graphic card, you have to use like the smaller models, but the bigger models version you can use, the more intelligent they are, the more knowledge they have, and it's called in billions of parameters. So every model has a size in billions of parameters that they have been trained on. So when you want to do like regular chat, simple chat, you can do it with the 1 billion, 2 billion model parameter. It will be able to answer most of like ChatGPT 3 level questions and answer. Like you can tell it, explain to me.
So do you recommend going from one to each of the others versus downloading them all?
Yeah, so we download them all because for two reasons here, Neil. One is that we remove the cost, the variable cost of using the model, because once you download it, you use it on your credit card, you own nothing to no one. You process the AI model is thinking inside your machine.
But you're only getting ChatGPT 3. You're not getting
No, no,
4.5.
no. You can get up to level 4 or even 4.5. It depends on how big your graphic card is. And if your graphic card is not big enough, the model will be slow. So it's a whole different approach. But basically the same model, 2 billion parameters, it will do basic chat like ChatGPT 3, but the 70 billion parameter means 30 times more compressed data will behave like ChatGPT 4 or 4.5.
Okay. All right. All right. So
So
I'm understanding how you do that. That's intriguing. I, as a data scientist, want to see it stand alone for my consumers and clients, and
yeah,
that's what I'm going to do as a maybe trying some of the free versions, paid versions, depending on all the different ones. The
exactly.
ones that they're going to go for, ChatGPT 4, we all know that. Now, I just
Yeah,
went to Google Llama. Llama is
yeah,
Meta, right?
that's
And
right.
then there's DeepSeek, and then
Yeah,
there's Claude. What you know, you didn't say Perplexity, and it's not even listed in there. So I wanted to
yeah,
go over what
perplexity.
you feel each one is best at, and that might be for another podcast. And I guess we're setting ourselves up for that. But I'm going to tell you, watch out for
Hmm.
Grok.
Yeah, growth is coming
Grok
up.
has a real is the does a great job of searching, going to websites, getting leads. It is at I think ChatGPT's most concerned with Grok. Do you agree with me in that? Because Elon
I think so.
it's
Yeah.
is testing boundaries, and there's no real rules with Grok at all. Grok just does what you want it to do.
Yeah, maybe it comes also from the management direction that every AI model has. But I remember 6 months ago, or maybe 4 months ago, the only model that you had that could do a search on internet and answer you and complement with recent data was Perplexity. And we were all using Perplexity. It was expensive, and we really didn't like to pay that much. But that was the only choice we had, especially both from the user interface, but also
Who
from the
created
API interface.
Perplexity?
It's a startup. It's a startup.
And so
I
you
don't
think
remember.
Perplexity's in trouble now?
I think yes. Now they have less, not in trouble because they added some other functionalities, but they have less of an edge because the other big AI models now they integrated web search inside their models. So now when you ask ChatGPT 4 or 4.5, it's able to go and navigate to a web page and get the data and complement its answer. And so does Grok. And like you said, Grok now does it very well. It can research a lot of pages in the background and use it.
You've
So now
already
Perplex,
downloaded Grok, so so like I don't know. Interesting.
yeah.
Um, I,
So let's look at, you can look at it as a race, Neil. There's all these AI models and LLMs, and they're all like on the starting block. And then every new run, one chooses to use a different style of running, and then sometimes they get it wrong, and then the other one takes the edge. Like Perplexity was ahead of everyone when it comes to combining with search results, and now they catch up to it. But now ChatGPT messed up something. Now another AI model is going to get it right, like Grok, and is going to go ahead. So it's going to be like constantly, I think, a race, like a Formula One
who's
race.
gonna survive? The ones that are Google, X, and Facebook because they have other revenue.
I think I think they're gonna have to kind of specialize in one segment or another because it's just too much spectrum of pleasing the humankind. You know, you have the business people, you have the developers, you have the strategists, you have the creative, uh, and and uh, and ChatGPT has been so far or was designed to be the best generic model that can do everything and nothing now. You know, so when you try to do anything, everything, maybe you're not good at nothing. And I
We're gonna
think they are
work
at
on
that.
we're gonna work on discussing and comparing them once I can get to model them for next week. Best place to go
Yeah,
is artilla.com. We had a kind of a conversation back and forth, a kind of venting session today. Artilla,
yeah,
RTILA.com. If you really want to just make things easier, automate things, not think about things, and build something for other people that are thinking the same, go check out Mohammed. Myself, I am just an AI, and so I am not an AI expert. I'm calling myself an AI fan, an AI enthusiast. I am
yes,
a I am a hacking, not a hack. I'm a biohacking enthusiast. So these are enthusiast things that I'm enjoying. Me getting involved with AI companies, yes, in the CMO roles, I absolutely am open to do those things. But for me to put it as my primary business, no, because it's the wild, wild west. And who will survive? We're going to find out someday.
yes.
Appreciate it. Thanks again, Dr.
Thank you.
Muhammad.